Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 919 for the 30th of August. This SITREP comes a little bit late because I was out the entire day and no choice. No, family have to come first. But I cannot put this off because there's a lot to talk about, a lot of significant situations that's happening, and there is just a little bit of the information that comes after the frontline changes report that I had already published around, I think, more than 12 hours ago. As per this recording, and that frontline change is over at Hellenisivka. So after the frontline changes report that I already mentioned, this massive collapse, there is new geolocation of Russian forces raising the flag over in Hellenisivka, confirming Russians have entered Hellenisivka and probably undefended as well. The Ukrainians have already bounced from this area entirely. So I'm not sure where they went. So there is no Ukrainian soldiers inside. The Russians are just planting flags everywhere. No, the Russians are running out of flags. As a result, no, they have run out of missiles, no aircraft, tanks, armored vehicles, bullets. No, then now they are running out of flags. Poor, no refrigerators and washing machines. So anyway, we're going to continue on to the strategy and tactical reporting, and we're going to go into the Kursk front. As usual, the Kursk front is still one of those very complicated fronts. Before we go into the front line changes, and I just have to highlight again the tremendous number of shelling reported in this region that is entirely not part of the Kursk front at the Khrushchev sector. Bombardment at Khrushchev, Performaisky, Pustohorod, Fotovich, and Bashkiv. And so these few locations got shelled again. As you can see, this cluster of areas really seems to be some major Ukrainian gathering of forces. I'm starting to get more and more sure that the Ukrainians are going to do some major offensive in this direction. But all this shelling is going to weaken their offensive punch, and this punch is going to be pretty weak in my opinion. And the Russians have already been alerted. They have already done a show of forces in this region with this Zaria crossing bombardment in the show of force. It wasn't even of really a fighting. They just drove a convoy and just fired at the border just to show that they are there, preparing and waiting for them to appear. So this is gonna I believe is gonna happen. I got a very strong sense that this likely will happen, because this would make sense. This, you can see how far these bombardments are from the front line. It's 70 kilometers away. It's actually very, very far away. So it's totally unrelated. And anyway, there's more bombardment over at Bilokpilia, over this is Pelivka and Katerinivka. And within New York itself, there is also bombardments. Sorry, not New York, Sumy as well. There's also geolocation of missile strikes. This another strike in the of a alleged UAV production workshop. And at China, there is a Iskandar striking another depot or no ammo dump, and over another warehouse over at Zinia Surovatka, also another of these no ammo dumps. The what is more interesting in terms of all this shelling, and of course there's another one over at Perovka, just off the Kolotilovka crossing, is this one. There's a geolocation of a HIMARS getting destroyed. And why is the HIMARS so far up? No, why is it so far up in the front line? This just next to the border, and this is merely 13 to 14 kilometers away from the fighting front line. I really have a strong sense that the Ukrainians do not have long-range missiles for their HIMARS anymore. The HIMARS basically is no difference from a Grad at this moment. They are probably providing close artillery support or decent range, 20 kilometers, at most 30 kilometers in terms of their artillery support. This is the sensing that I get, because if at 30 kilometers they can cover most of the front, and given the position that it is in, I believe that it's covering the southern and the eastern and central fronts. I believe this is where it's covering around 30 kilometers range. I believe this is where they are defending. Of course, potentially they should have been able to fire 100, 200 kilometers, but these missiles are expensive, and probably they have already run most of them out, and they are using this super long range one prohibitively, and probably using the cheaper missiles to provide artillery support, pinpoint one, cluster ones, and so I believe that's what is currently happening. So over in the western front, over at the Snagos region, Russian forces continue to put pressure on the Ukrainian forces over at Snagos. In this area of this railway station called Gapanovo, Vishnevka, the 10Y October, and Opanosovka. Shelling was reported over at Obokovka, which is most likely a forward operating position for the Ukrainians as they send in forces and do rotations. And Ukrainians are still continuing to attack Krasno-Otobilsky. So this continue to be the current situation. No fighting reported at Komarovka. And the last update that we have was that the Ukrainians actually redrawn back to Vishnevka after they failed to take Komarovka. So the current situation remains no change. As you can see, for those that have been watching the SITREP every day, you would know that there's no change. For those that only watch the Frontline Changes report, would have no freaking idea this is happening, which is why SITREP is important. And for those that watch the Frontline Changes report, heard me say that you should catch the SITREP. Yeah, thank you for watching, and press the like button, subscribe, because this is a different channel. This is a DPA war channel. So, and we move further up north. There is shelling also reported at Lyubomovka. By the way, if you're interested, over at the Kremenevo region, Ukrainian forces are still trying to push the Russian forces in this area. They are also attacking Kremyanoe also. But similarly, strategic situation have not changed. There is no real change regarding this area here. Over at the northern flank, there is an interesting geolocation. FPV drones were attacking some abundant Ukrainian armored vehicles. This does not necessarily indicate Ukrainian presence per se, because an abundant vehicle, there may be infantry inside hiding as using it as a shelter. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe the FPV drones only there to disable the vehicles to prevent it from being recovered by the Ukrainian side. So, but the key fact is that if they use the FPV drone to attack the abundant armored vehicle instead of using Russian infantry to overrun the position, which means the Russians are just simply not there. So the Russians are still holding a line away from this forest position. The Russians probably are still holding the line over at Kauchuk, Alexievsky, as well as Anastasievka. So I believe the Russians are still holding the same line. They're waiting for the Ukrainians to come, but it seems like the Ukrainians are not coming anymore. I just want to note, this looks like a freaking castle. Like, it looks, there's no castles around here, but this geography looks like there should be a castle here. Yeah, there should be like a castle, I don't know, like there should be a castle here. Yeah, anyway, this is what it is. So anyway, this is not a confirmation of Ukrainian presence in the northern front. It simply means there's no Russian presence around the forest in this countryside. Moving in south of this location, over at this eastern flank. At the eastern flank, Russian forces are attacking in the region of Orlovka, Novaya Sorovchina, Ruskoye Parashnoye, and Kositsa. Ukrainian forces are attacking Cherkaskoye Parashnoye as well as Malaya Loknia. So there is still all this presence, and Ukrainians are also attacking towards Kamishevka as well as Kirievka. So the Ukrainians are also pushing out in these locations. This is where they are trying to push new ideas, where we have a geolocation confirming in the region of near the west of Nechaev. Ukrainians have make some progress in that direction, moving towards Kirievka. Previously, I have put the icon of Kamishevka over on this side, but it looks like this area would make more sense if the Ukrainians have this salient around this region. I think the attack towards Kamishevka probably is around there, but there is also Russian attack in the area of Orlovka and Novaya Soroshena. So there is also a possibility that it could be an attack from the other direction. We have no idea when where it is, or it could also be that the front line is actually like this, and the Ukrainians are simply attacking straight on over at Kameshivka. So the front line may actually look something like this. So there is all this is still currently a fog of war at this moment in Kursk. So we shall continue to wait and see how this develop over at this Kursk front. And in the northern flank of the Kursk front, over at the Suja sector, in this Suja sector, the Russians bombard Budanovka. Russians are attacking Ukrainians or shelling Ukrainians over at Montinovka, and the Ukrainians are attacking Pushkanoe. Russians are attacking Mihailovka. Ukrainians are attacking Ruskaya Konopelka. And there is geolocation of Ukrainians getting missile strike in Myrny. And is there anything else below? Yeah, there's something else below. So I need to scroll down a bit. So I think I should zoom out. Okay, I should scroll down. So, and over in the southern area, so other than the Ukrainians attacking at Ruskaya Konopelka and Pushkanoe, Russians attack Mikhailovka, and there is Ukrainians are also attacking Chekhovskaya Konopelka, and they are assessed by DPA to have already captured these positions. Russians are still attacking Chekhovskaya Konopelka. Probably is the shelling that was geolocated rather than a ground offensive, but we do note that we assess that Chekhovskaya Konopelka is captured by the Ukrainian forces. So it is a small step, but it's better than nothing. So that's it from this area here. Over in the southern flank, the Russian forces are still putting pressure on the Ukrainians. There is fighting or shelling reported at Plakovo as well as Borki. And geolocation of Ukrainian forces in the western part of Borki continue to confirm Ukrainian presence in the region, and probably Ukrainian control of Borki. So the current strategic situation in the south did not change. So moving out, other than all this shelling I already mentioned, we move into the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, there is largely no much change. Fighting is reported at Lipsy and Postchans, with the Russians attacking Ukrainian forces. Geolocation of FPV drone strike on Ukrainian vehicles south of Postchans. And interestingly, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry name dropped Platonivka. And this is taking, I think, a little bit unusual because Platonivka is firmly under Russian control. I wonder if the Ukrainians are launched an attack in this way, and which is why there is fighting perhaps in this region here. We are not sure. So we just have to continue to wait for mapping updates from some of these sources and see, anyone can shed some light regarding this. But the Ukrainians are known to put some weird names that doesn't correlate to realities in their reports. So this could be just one of them. So that's all from the Kursk front, Kharkiv front, and the Kursk front just now. So we go into the Kupiansk front. At the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are still attacking the region of Sinkivka and Petropolivka. So strategically, nothing changed. Over at the Pischane region, something very major have happened. There's a saber-toothed tiger that has born. The teeth, the canine, the teeth, the Dracula teeth have appeared, and it is heading towards Lozova from Pischane region. And this comes at the same time where we have geolocation of Russian forces making a big progress over at Stemakivka, and this is also heading towards Lozova. And the Russian forces are reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry to be attacking towards Lozova, probably from this salient at Novoselivsky. So and the Russians are also continue to attack towards Khrushchevka and Novosinove. But the important thing is these two yellow arrows. This is a pincer, and if both forces meet at Lozova, the entire defense line over at Berestove and Novoselivsky will just collapse. And this would just change the entire equation for sure, 100%. And the Russians having a advanced line within this region also allows them to have a goal at Krylyakivka and capturing the Krylyakivka Senkove crossing, which is over here. And this is a very worrisome development of the front line if you look at this from a Ukrainian perspective. And the Ukrainians are still doubling down on Kursk, tripling down on Kursk, And if they do the incursion, the attack where I mentioned at the borders between Bryansk, Kursk, and Sumy, then yeah, they will be toppling down at this at that offensive, and that will be even more demoralizing for the Ukrainian forces in this region. As you can see, the Ukrainians are getting pushed back day by day by day, and if you are the soldier on the ground and you see your comrades slowly die out one by one, and then you'll be wondering where are the reinforcements, where are the equipments, where are the shells, and then you saw your commands sent beautiful troops and equipments to do an offensive that can't really save their own country, or at least in their brain, that's what they think. Of course, there is bargaining purposes, but it will be very demoralizing. So let's see how this develop. Over at the Svetove front, we have fighting reported at Zverdokhlibove, over at Sheneshina or Shemeneshkina, Druzhelobivka, Krakivka, as well as Nevsky. So the Russians are making this very big development around here, this arrow direction. And where this arrow leads to, let's check it out. Let's move this to this area in Pisky Rakivki. And at this area here, what's there? Is nothing, it's just river. But that arrow can just go over to Oskil. So anyway, that's a bad arrow. Yeah, it could be like like this. Yeah, heading towards Oskil, and which is which is a very strategically important place, because this is where they do the crossing at the very end of this river, at the dammed up river. So let's see how this develop within the Svetove region. This is very far away. I don't think the Russians will get there anytime soon, unless the Ukrainians just simply don't defend. And talking about don't defend, we'll get there very soon. They are not defending over in the Pokrov and the Donetsk front. Over at the Crimea front, there is only one fighting reported over at Novosadove, and that's about it. We move into the Sivers front. At the Sivers front, the Sivers offensive continues over at Verkhnokryamsky, Vivano, Darivka, and Vimka. The lack of update within this region is, yeah, weird. So we move on over at the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, we have fighting reported over at Kalinina, Chasivya, Ivaniske, Stuposhki, towards Preteshne, Klishevka, Andrievka. Geolocation of Russian forces at Kharkovivka, Ukrainians in Chasivya getting destroyed. A tank was tried to do fire mission, got destroyed in the canal region, and so that's about it over in the Bakhmut front. You can see there is a lot of fighting around this region here. There is always a strong possibility that there's some kind of Bakhmut offensive is currently ongoing. So let's see how this go from this sector. We move further south into the New York front. At the New York front, we only have fighting reported in Torex and Nelipivka. And based on the Russian Defense Ministry's latest report, in today's summary, which is most of the information is actually not mapped on the map, but I did look through and actually map this in, just in case the information get way too late. The Russian Defense Ministry have announced the capture of Kirovo. Kirovo is actually Pivnishne. So this is actually pretty significant, because that would mean that the Russians have claimed that they have taken the entirety of this area here of Pivnishne. And so very, very significant, which means that this area here is now, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, captured. And of course, this makes perfect sense because the area here has already been taken. Like the front line here just makes perfect sense that the Russians would easily overrun it. So anyway, we will just continue to wait for mapping updates from the different various sources, and we will map this in over the next 24-48 hours. So otherwise, there is geolocation of Ukrainians getting airstrike by the Russians in the southern part of Torex in this Zabalka region, confirming that the Russians have not really pushed up that far at all. They are still holding the line around here, as the main push seems to be over on the east. So we shall see how this develop in this region here. This is one of these major battle that we'll probably see, but the Ukrainians are unlikely to pull in the forces to defend this city, because I don't think Kursk is strategically that important. I think the more important city is Pokrov. So I don't expect the Ukrainians to put more effort into Thorax. But let's see how this develop as well. No, over in the Pokrov front, in the northern flank, we have Russians attacking Zelenipole, Vozdevizenka, Myrolyubivka. That's all. Nothing really changed. This is a static line. This is a pinning operation. Over in the Horodivka region, fighting is simply reported at Horodivka, but we don't have anything around here. Moving further south in this Selidove direction, the Russians are geolocated in the southern part of Novohorodivka. Fighting is reported at Miranivka, Mikhailivka, and Selidove. So this push is currently ongoing. No updates regarding this area. Then we have the mass collapse of the front over at the Kalivka Kalinove region. So in this area here, I can't even zoom in. As you can see, it is so big. So the Russian forces are geolocated to have all these are Russians raising flags. The Russians are raising flags literally everywhere to really show that they are in the area, and the speed of the advance in just merely 24 to 36 hours suggests that the Ukrainians did not defend at all. Simply, there's no defense of the area at all. The Ukrainians have entirely given up given up this region here, and the fact that they have just given up this area so easily, where I believe that this could be a good defense line, because if they don't defend here, then things is going to change very badly strategically for the Ukrainians. Then I believe that the Nevelsky region is going to have a retreat as well. So this is a massive development. You can see that the Russians have entered Halisinivka. This is the latest geolocation as mentioned in the at the beginning of of this report. Russians are going to swarm through the settlement, quickly capturing all this area because there is unlikely to be any defenders. Russians are going to swarm down to all these areas here, to this water body, the entrenchment there. They are already attacking Dolinivka, which I don't think the Ukrainians are going to defend. I think they're going to retreat as well, because this is even worse than the Khalivka situation. So I think the entire situation is just a massive collapse. There is no other way to describe this. It's a massive collapse of the line, but I can't say it's a massive collapse of a defense line, because there is no defense. No, the Ukrainians aren't defending at all. They just run. So we're not sure where they run to. I'm not sure where are they going to establish a defense line. As I mentioned, this is where I thought that they would hold a defense line, but they didn't. So the fact that they didn't means that we have to now start to look at the future as to where they could form that line. And at this moment, I don't see any clear areas that is a good defense line at this moment. So I will continue to just as we report, I go through and I will see where it makes sense. So my hand was raising over on the side, but we cannot see that. I should use this hand. Yeah. So I will see how this goes, and geolocation of a FPV drone hitting a self-propelled howitzer, which means that the Ukrainians do still have artillery system. There is a supporting operation bombarding Russian forces, but I don't think it's a lot. I think just a little bit. They are just helping with the retreat. So as I mentioned, this development around here with this Russian push and mass capture around this area here means that the Ukrainian lines around Nevelsky all the way to the north of Krasnohorivka will collapse. I believe that with the Ukrainians just simply abandon positions over at Kalivka, the forces at Nevelsky will now currently likely to be in the middle of a tactical retreat. I don't think they will stay there. I don't think it makes sense for them to stay there, because more established positions in the north has already fallen. And these are all very, very strategically important places. And if the troops abandon this north, I don't think this front line will hold. I think they're going to leave, which means that the Krasnohorivka's this chopstick around here is going to collapse very fast as well, because like I mentioned, your rear is now your butt, your rear is exposed, and you need to wear something, you know. Yeah, you know. Ukraine, you know. Crane, no crane. So anyway, so that's it from this area. That's something never came up in my mind. So I yeah. Anyway, we go into the Donetsk front. There's no fighting reported across Krasnohorivka. Curiously, as I mentioned, curiously, and the fact that there's no fighting at Nebelsky as well, very suspicious. Fighting is reported, however, over in the Pobeda, Georgievka, Masimilivka region. Russian forces are attacking down Masimilivka. We haven't seen fighting at Masimilivka for a week already. 22nd of August was the last. So this attack came about again. Russians are attacking in Georgievka region. Russian forces has been geolocated west of Bobeda, confirming Russians are attacking in the Bobeda region. So this has been activated again. Looks like the Russians are going to try again to see whether Ukrainians are there. If they are defending, then maybe the Russians will give it up. But if the Ukrainians are not defending, then I think they will start to push. So let's see how this go. Over at the Konstantinivka region, there is information from Russian sources that this area here is still under Ukrainian control. As a result, the Ukrainians have basically attacked into Konstantinivka. They basically drive into it quickly. The Russians have not established a firm, strong defense line. But the Russians are also attacking in the region of Konstantinivka. So let's see how this continue to develop. That's why I have not declared a capture as well, because I say too much because let me change the word. Because the Ukrainian forces are still attacking, and they're still in the area. The Russians have not really established firm control and with buffer. So yeah, it is what it is. The capture was first only claimed by Ryba, and the latest information from Ryba says that the Russian UAV strike on the transport of Ukrainian forces in the intersection of Beregovaya Street, which is actually can't really tell which street is that. Anyway, yeah, probably the first street. Not sure. The words didn't came out. Anyway, whatever it is, what it is. It simply say that the Russians have entered. No, the Ukrainians have entered into Konstantinivka. So let's wait and see. Moving further south, over at the Vodyane region, the Russian claims massive collapse in this region as well. Russian forces have basically attack and control a lot of grounds in multiple vectors of attack, and secure the entire stretch of the highway, completing their mission along this stretch of the front line, and they are now on the verge of attacking Vodyane. They could attack from the north through down the road, or from the south, and or they could just do it all at the same time, which means that Ukrainians will not be able to hold the line. If all attack at the same time, they will have to withdraw, and then we will probably see a very quick fall of Vodyane. And if Vodyane fall, then Voleda will be in deep trouble, because there won't be any more supply lines left. The Ukrainians will have to go through all these dirt roads, through this forest line. The links here to Vodyane, of course, is already very bad. So yeah, Voleda eventually will be abandoned. As you can see, the Russians are pushing in Vodyane region. They are pushing along here. If they continue to go up, they could swing south, and then an attack from Belivka would then end up into a pincer, stranding the Ukrainian forces at Voleda. And there is attack in the region of Voleda already being reported, as well as Belivka, according to the Russian information. So geolocation was of a Russian airstrike on Ukrainian positions was also reported. So the situation is, of course, looking super bad. Yeah, but goes without saying, for those that are watching DPA for a long time, especially those that will watch until half an hour at this point, you guys already will have known all these things I already mentioned many times. Over at the Zaporizhia region, fighting is reported only in the Robotine region, which is interesting. I'm very curious about the situation at Robotine, why the Russians have not really closed up the gap, really close up this entire front line to establish back to the pre-2023 counteroffensive line. So let's see. And over at the Kherson front, there is only reports of fighting reported in the Pridniprovsky direction. That means they say that the Russians are attacking around this area here, and that's about it. So this is the summary for the day of 919 for the 30th of August. So the strategic situation is very bad, and yeah, we shall continue to monitor the situation. The frontline changes report will be like in half a day's time. So let's see how this goes. I'll see you guys in the next update. Press the like button, subscribe, and for those that watch the open mic, it will not be now or later. It will be tomorrow, Sunday.